Welcome back to the garage. We're finally reinstalling the engine. I haven't had to give a disclaimer lately, so might as well throw one out there. I'm not a professional. I'm not a mechanic. I'm actually an IT professional, which is not related to this stuff, so don't take any of this as instructional or advice. Don't do what I do. I don't claim to be an expert, though I do claim to be an idiot sometimes, so you shouldn't do what I do. Ask your doctor if YouTube is right for you. Caution, may contain nuts. This garage contains chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer. Back to the video. We're to the point in this project where I can only hope that I've gotten it all right. I have done so much reading, I've watched so many YouTube videos, and now it all comes down to just doing the work and putting it all back together. PTO cover is finally all gasketed down. It's time to swap out this. This is another one that goes into oil, so throw some thread sealer on it just to be sure. So I'm not going to go overboard on the explanations here. There's other channels that do that, so put a little bit of grease here. A lot of it right there. And make sure there's a groove in here like it's meant for this high temp grease, kind of like a wheel bearing. So throw some in here just to make sure it's got something in there for the long run. And there's also, of course, this exit hole if there's just too much in there, and it'll drain out the bottom of the bell housing eventually. And we'll just get this spring here. Put a little bit of extra in here for that knob. And for good measure, of course, we'll throw some here where the ball's gonna end up. And let's go ahead and get this installed. There we go. Well, I pressed the wrong dang button, so you missed getting this on, but it's time to tighten down some bolts. Ended up finding a flea market 9/16 that's flat, so let's get this going. The torque spec on these is between 36 and 40. So I will set my torque wrench to 38. How did that get so loose again? Wow, that nut stripped. That's something. Fortunately, there's a lot of stuff on this Jeep that takes a 9/16. So one of those bolts off of the exhaust manifold stud just saved me. And let's see if she'll torque to spec. There we go. Hey. With those torque to spec. Make dang sure this is clean. With our clean pressure plate flywheel and with our clutch alignment tool, let's get this all set up nice and aligned. should just come right out, and it does. Well, the spec here says 12 to 17, which seems low to me, but okay. I've set my torque wrench to 15 and we'll just send it. Clutch is done. Well, we're getting close to putting the two back together, so obviously that means it's time to take a moment to rehydrate with beer. Working solo has its drawbacks. So I didn't have enough strength to lift it and line it up and all that by myself. So I had to walk away for an hour. Got dark outside. Came back. The way I ended up solving this was unbolting the bell housing from the transmission, putting it through, finagling the shift fork into position from up here, and then bolting just these 4 bolts onto the transmission or through the transmission to the bell housing. And that's what brought it back together. Yay. My back hurts. I'm gonna go sit down.
The next morning.
So there's gonna be a lot more that goes into this than just dropping it in. Forgot about some nuts and bolts and stuff. And these just need a quick cleanup. I need to do a quick cleanup of the threads specifically, because I don't want to go to the hardware store. These will be fine in a minute. So I'll clean these up first. And I'm glad I did, because very clean threads came in handy later when I was trying to get that cross member on. It had been abused for decades and it was all kinds of bent up, so being able to hand thread the bolts came in handy. So for anyone who hasn't been here since the very beginning, which is probably a lot of you, I am not a mechanic. I'm actually an IT manager, basically a sysadmin. So this is technically my second engine installation. The first was in a Honda Civic, and it involved a lift and an ASC certified mechanic who was actually doing most of the work, and I was there helping. Outside of that, I had a buddy of mine, David, come up from Texas, and he helped pull the engine, and that was way back in February. It took us about 3 hours. So that's about the only experience I have with this. So we'll see how it goes, but again, I'm not a certified mechanic, but I am YouTube certified. And just to be clear, that's not a real thing. Literally, I went to the University of YouTube by just watching a bunch of videos of other people doing it. So that obviously makes me an expert. Not intended to be a factual statement. If that airplane would just go away. Ladies and gentlemen, the Doppler effect. It's gonna be way easier without the levers, so I've just covered the transmission to make sure none of that dirt and junk gets in. So I hadn't realized it at this point, but that custom Bubba Special front bumper is causing me all kinds of problems here. It sticks out so much further than the factory one that I can't get the engine hoist in close enough to get the engine back far enough to get on the mounts, and that causes so much trouble. But it's funny to see me trying to protect the paint job on the skid plate with that piece of spare flooring that ended up not working at all. So one thing I've got working against me here is someone put in a bonus skid plate here, and that's just in the way. Apparently it's not doing all that good because it got actually sheared off on this corner, so I would almost cut it out, but I don't know, it's just kind of in the way right now. I'm trying to think back to February about how David and I solved that. I think we just bent the heck out of it. In hindsight, yes, we bent the thing nearly vertical,
and for reasons I can't fathom, I bent it back, just so it would be in the way. At this point, it's pretty clear from the over-the-shoulder view that the engine hoist is right against that front bumper. There's no way to get the engine further back enough without a whole lot of prying. Even if I'd had a second set of hands, it still would have been a challenge. The little front skid plate is stuck on the front cross member, and any hopes I had of saving the paint are kind of out the window at this point. This was around the time that I finally got enough leverage to get it over the cross member and then stuck on the bell crank. And then I got it off the bell crank, where it promptly kind of mashed one of the brake lines, the passenger side front brake line. So I might have to remake that now. At least at this point I'm kind of proficient at that. Perhaps the most notable accomplishment of the project up to this point is that today I was able to successfully create a language consisting of only 4-letter words. If only my linguistics professor from college at UCA, Dr. Burley, could see me now. So here I've got it free of most obstructions, but I'm just trying to get it to swing back enough to get the mounts in line where they need to be. And that is proving to be way easier said than done.
Okay, it's taken, I don't even know what time it is. Probably an hour and a half to get it this far. The holes are 1 inch off. I've had to get really sketchy to get it this far. Like setting the oil pan on the axle with the other end supported with the floor jack. Sketchy. My socially distant paint job has suffered, unfortunately. This hasn't been a pretty process. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to remake the brake line that goes over the differential on the front axle. It got a little bit smushed by the skid plate. Unfortunately, the pulley also suffered a little bit. It got dinged pretty hard by the bell crank mount. Alright, up, back. I can just get the passenger side mount to sit where I want it. If I can just start a single bolt. It's like 1/8 of an inch off. Okay, there's 1. There's 2. I understand now. Some guy on Facebook, actually a couple of guys, tried to tell me to put both mounts on the front engine plate and then try to install it. I thought I would be smart and just install one on the passenger side and one on the driver's side, and I would get this one on first and then just pivot the other one however it needed to be. No, that's not how it works. Not at all. So now I'm in a pickle doing the solo. I need to get this one mount. I mean, it is almost on the hole, but it's offset by like a 1/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna attempt to just loosen this up and wobble it around and hope that works, but otherwise I'm kind of screwed. Oh, it's lined up if the engine could just go back. A fraction of an inch. It might just pop right in. And there it is. So one of the rules of the internet is, just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true. The corollary of that is, I guess, just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's false. I should have trusted dude. That would have made this a hell of a lot easier. Okay, that's the front. Now I gotta figure out the back. Okay, if I have done this correctly, I should be able to release the tension off this jack on the rear here, and the whole thing shouldn't fall.
Hey. Alright, cross member. Let's get this thing in.
Ran into a snag like one always does. At some point I bent these bolts. I don't know if it was while I was installing or what, but I just had to take the whole thing off, bend it back, and I think it's good to go now. It's taken several hours to get here, but to the point of raising the cross member up, it's about an inch off somehow, but I gotta get it to fit in here, so here we go. Okay, the side's in the groove, it'll go straight up. Now I gotta get the other side. A pump. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's so bent. I'm so glad that I cleaned up the threads on this, because this would not even have been remotely possible. Hello. Whew. Well, I ran out of daylight. I don't know where I stopped recording. You can look at the state of my cross member there and see how bent up it is. So that was a chore. I ended up having to use the jack in about 6 different places to get all 6 bolts to actually line up in the end. It's in. Nothing's fully torqued down yet. That's a problem for future Bradley, maybe tomorrow. But it's all here, it's all in. It's installed. That's a major milestone. So there it is. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know how the editing is going to end up on this one. It might be a complete dumpster fire. We'll see, but major progress. I'll see you guys on the next one.